All right, everyone, are we ready? Let's get it going. We're going to go ahead and start this thing off. We're going to talk about the 10 simple steps to fight hunger pain, all right? Let's look at slide number 1. So our first thing is going to be you want to make sure that whenever with your food that you actually are having some sort of spicy stuff on your food, such as hot sauce, sriracha, okay? So what happens if you notice if you have spicy food, your actual core temperature heats up. If you ever have any spicy Mexican food or anything like that, you'll actually notice that you actually kind of sweat a little bit if it's extremely spicy. Well, if you notice, that means that your actual core temperature heated up. So naturally, your body has to fight to cool itself down. So you're actually burning calories having spicy food. So stuff such as sriracha, okay, is a perfect thing you can add to maybe your stir fry or even your omelet in the morning.
Yeah, add some hot sauce. We put hot sauce on our omelets in the morning. Sometimes we'll add salsa too, and I've started adding a lot of cayenne pepper. So I'll add a dash of cayenne pepper to my water, and then I'll also squeeze half a fresh lemon, and I'll have that in the morning, and I'll also drink that with lunch as well.
So that's going to be our first tip, okay, as far as really, fighting those hunger cravings.
So our second tip is going to be to have an apple a day. You want to start one of your meals off with an apple. So maybe you have an apple with your lunch, because there are studies that have shown that you're going to be apt to eat less overall because the apple is really filling and it has a really high fiber content. It actually contains up to 4 or 5 grams of 4 to 5 grams of fiber in one apple, which is 1/5 of what women need in a day. So you could either, half that apple or, go ahead and have the whole apple and have that with your chicken breast or with your tuna. Now, our third tip is going to be learning. You got to learn your body, and you got to learn when you're full, because a lot of times we eat so fast in America that, our body is actually full, but our mind doesn't register that we're full until we've completely finished the plate. But you want to allow yourself around 15 minutes to eat, because if you're slowly eating and you're making sure that you're getting water in while you're eating and you're taking your time, then you're going to eat less. You're going to eat considerably less. So you also want to make sure, I call it quit faking it, cut out all the artificial sweetener. So you don't want to be having Equal, Splenda, or Sweet and Low. Because when you're having sugar like this from artificial sweeteners, your body knows, your body is going to start craving other sweet things. Now, we tell y'all to eat stevia. Stevia is not an artificial sweetener. So stevia is something that you want to have. Or trivia. Trivia and stevia are pretty much the same thing, and they're not going to cause you to have other cravings once you have them. So they're okay. Now, you want to stock up on skinny, healthy fats. Things like avocados are great. Olive oil. When you have olive oil, though, remember you don't want to cook with it. So we don't want to be having olive oil and then use that olive oil to cook eggs and things like that. When we're cooking eggs, we want to be using coconut oil. We want to be using safflower oil, grapeseed oil. But you can drizzle olive oil on your salad. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll drizzle olive oil and I'll drizzle vinegar on my salad. And when you're having an avocado, you only want about 1/4 of the avocado if you're going to put it on your salad. Nuts are also a way to get your healthy fats in throughout the day.
Another thing with the fats too is you want to make sure that, okay, you're not looking for the saturated fats or trans fats. You're looking for the poly and mono unsaturated fats, okay, which are really found in the avocados, also found in salmon. One thing about, okay, the fats though is we're trying to limit our fat intake, okay? So yes, you can have a little bit of healthy fats in your diet, but our overall goal is to eliminate a lot of fat, eliminate a lot of the carbs and sugars, okay? The more apt we are to eliminate the fats and eliminate the sugars and carbs, the more apt our body is going to use stored body fat for energy. So if we're really trying to hit our goal, you definitely want to keep that in mind, okay? So limit the fat, but it is okay to have a little bit of olive oil, like Emily said, and a little bit of avocado throughout your day. All right? So just a little quick tip.
Now, you also want to make sure you're what I like to call CHIA-FYing your food. So what Dustin and I do is we either use chia seed or flaxseed in our smoothies in the morning. And sometimes we'll use a combination of both. And chia seed has protein. Chia seed is a form of protein. The Mayan warriors actually ate chia seed before they went into battle, and it would sustain them as far as energy. But having chia seeds in your shakes in the morning are going to help you stay full longer. And they also have a lot of fiber, so it's going to help you make sure that you're not bloated. Add them, put them on your smoothie. You can put them on your salads, put them in soups.
Really anything.
Really anything, however you want to cook them. When you get the munchies, you want to if your body is craving something and you're starving, then you do need to give into those munchies at times. But what you choose to eat when you do that is really what's going to make the difference. So, for example, if we're craving something and we're really having a munchie and it's late, sometimes we'll make an egg white omelet, if it's late, and we'll half it.
Or sometimes we'll do like broccoli and hummus. It sounds crazy, but get those raw vegetables in, all right? You don't have to go for the popcorn and stuff like that. All the time, Emily and I, all the time, we'll heat up some safflower oil and pan fry up some egg whites. And yes, it could be, 12 o'clock at night if we're, up doing webinars or something like that, or building some sites. So definitely, okay, make sure those meals are every 2 to 3 hours. We can't stress that enough, all right? Because those muscles, if you're awake and you're not sleeping, that means we're not recovering. So we definitely have to make sure we're repairing our muscles and giving it what it wants. Your muscles need the protein, all right, to sustain muscle growth. The more muscle we build, okay, the leaner we're going to get over time.
And two, what we found is the bottom line is if you're starving and it's late on night, say it's a Friday night, and you're starving and you really want something to eat, and it's around 9 o'clock. If you keep putting off eating something, if you crave at midnight, typically when you cave, it's not going to be something that was a healthy choice. Because if you've waited that long, when you cave, typically you're going to go for whatever sort of junk you can find in your pantry. Now, our next tip is to divide and conquer. So if you're out and you're eating somewhere and you're out with friends, instead of getting a giant sandwich, have half of a small sandwich and a side salad or a piece of fruit. Sometimes if I'm craving soda and I'm out in public, I'll get a cup of tea. And I know this is crazy, but I do carry stevia in my purse. I know that probably sounds crazy, but I just carry it with me so that I always have it. But you could put that in the tea. You want to try to typically pass up a big bowl of pasta in favor, and instead have a piece of seafood, but you don't need to have both. And I'll, pass up having noodles and instead have sauteed veggies. So it's just making those healthy choices. We went and had burgers a couple days ago, and we both told them no buns. We didn't have the buns. We didn't put cheese on the burgers. We just had the burgers.
Yeah.
And I got a side salad instead of fries, and Dustin had some fruit.
And say another thing, too, with this is, you have to think outside the box. So, yeah, your friends, they can be in front of you having those temptations.
Or your husband, maybe your husband's in front of you.
But just know deep down, okay, you're doing this for a reason, and you're trying to set yourself apart from everyone else. The overall goal is to make sure you accomplish your goal. And we know that you can't do what you were doing in the past in order to achieve the goal. So it's all about sacrificing little things, okay? If you treat yourself, okay, we're not saying you can't go have a piece of pizza, all right? But you
don't need the whole pizza.
You don't need the whole pizza. So
even on a cheat day.
So if you hit your goal of losing 2 or 3 pounds in 1 week, reward yourself. Make sure you have that cheat food. Maybe it's a sandwich, okay? You only eat half of the sandwich. Have it at lunchtime. Immediately after that, you're going to have a good bit of energy. Use the extra energy, okay, which you're going to get from the carbohydrates to actually do some extra cardio. So it's all about thinking outside the box and doing things differently that other people aren't willing to do. That's what's going to set you apart. All right? Next slide.
So our next slide is, I like to say, sip a little bubbly. So carbonation actually expands the intestinal tract, which makes you feel as though you've got a full gut of food. So I keep LaCroix in our fridge And LaCroix I've also found helps me. I love Dr. Pepper. Love it. So if I drink LaCroix, I kind of get that satisfaction of having, and it doesn't have to be LaCroix. I mean, they have other brands of sparkling water.
The carbonation does help, but one thing you can go overkill with
yes,
this.
you can.
You will feel bloated, okay, if you do go crazy. But like I said, at night, you have a crazy temptation. You're just craving.
Or in the afternoon.
You're craving maybe a sugary drink. This is definitely something you can have, right before you go to bed, and it's not going to crash your diet. So definitely sip on some bubbly, something bubbly.
Yep, and too, a lot of people always ask us, going kind of into alcohol for just a split second, a lot of people ask us, hey, I do go out with friends or I have to go out for work. What is the best option for me to have? And so, if you do find yourself in a position where you are ordering drinks, do something like a club soda, with a splash of vodka in it. If you're at home and you're with friends, maybe you do use a LaCroix and put a little bit of vodka in it. But, we really try to get y'all to stay away from the wine and beer and even liquor, just because it does, if you get a buzz, it does put you back 3 days in the gym. So to me, that's just not worth it. I'd rather have some cake. All right, so this is going to be our final tip for y'all tonight, and then we're going to open it up for some questions. And that's to make sure you're getting enough vitamin D in your diet. Because if your vitamin D levels are low, and most women's are, it has a negative impact on your leptin in it, which is a hormone that tells you when you've had enough food. So you can get vitamin D from fish like salmon. Make sure you're limiting your salmon, though, to 2 to 3 times a week because it is higher in fat. And you can also take a vitamin D supplement, so take a vitamin D vitamin, and you want to make sure you're getting 1,000 IUs of vitamin D in. So now what we're going to do is, if y'all have any questions, that's, all the slides that we had prepared. We wanted to keep it simple tonight and just give you 10 tips for how to fight that hunger. So if you have any questions, go ahead and type them now, and we'll answer them right away.
We'll leave it open for like 5 minutes.
Yes.
So.
And we want to thank y'all for coming tonight. We're open to suggestions. Like I said, we're going to start doing this once a week. And we want to keep them to about 20 to 30 minutes so that it doesn't take up a lot of your time, but that we're able to give you, new content and fitness tips every week. So if y'all have suggestions or ideas for what you'd like next week to be on, just let us know. All right, so it doesn't look like, I'm not seeing any questions. Not seeing any questions. It looks like y'all are good to go. So, feel free to call us or text us if you have any questions. We're so proud of how y'all's weigh-ins went this week. We were very, very impressed. Y'all are working really hard, and it's showing when you're weighing in. So we hope you have a great weekend. Make sure you're doing your ab calendar this weekend. And make sure you're burning 500 calories of cardio. We'll see you Monday.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.